Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
Hey freaks! You've been wanting to spend your money learning more about Marisa and my private lives? Well, now's your chance.
Emphasis on private.
Private. You're gonna anything you want to find out, all you have to do is give us a teeny tiny bit of money and you can hear all the juicy tea.
On Tuesday, February 4th, the On-Brand Patreon Off-Brand will officially be live. Every Tuesday, there will be a brand new episode of Off-Brand, so head over to patreon.com/onbrand with Jon and Marisa to check out the very first episode of Off-Brand. See you there.
Bye.
Hello. We're about to start an episode.
Hi. Hi.
Cue theme song. Wait, no, intro.
No, intro. In 1999, two brothers set up a humble booth at a toy fair in London to show off their new brand. Armed with the belief that what they had created would not only earn them an income, but could shake up the toy market in the United Kingdom. They were quickly recognized for their quirky designs and quality materials and have spent the last 26 years evolving with the times to create adorable products that have mass appeal to babies, children, and adults alike. Their limited edition drops, brand collaborations, and unique retail experiences have made them social media darlings with a cult-like fan base. So if you're not already familiar with Fuddle Wuddle Fox, Hug McSnug, Bartholomew Bear, and of course Bashful Bunny, then it's time you were. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Jellycat.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Okay. So,
Jellycat.
So we knew this was on the list. Why Jellycat? Why now?
Why now?
Right? So my thought process was, this is one of my go-to, this has become a go-to brand for me for baby showers. Anytime any of my friends has a baby, more than likely you'll get a Jellycat. My niece right now is like, I did not get a Jellycat last month. No, but you got two Pikachus because you like Pikachu more.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's a fun brand. And I figure it's January. We're headed into Valentine's. We're headed into Easter. It's kind of plush season. Plush season, I think, goes hand in hand with chocolate season.
I think this is tangentially related to baby showers, but I think this time of year is when most babies are conceived.
Do you know I have the most popular birthday that exists?
Are you kidding?
No, September 9th is the most popular birthday that exists.
Yeah, so people were getting it on in like the first week or so of January. So we are, and I would say that probably September and October birthdays are the most popular in general. Because of that, winter is when you want to snuggle up with a lover and maybe be inseminated. And then 9 months later, Jon's getting you a Jellycat.
All I want in the winter is a blanket, some and some pizza. Beep it. Okay, we get 3 beeps per show. Beep number 1.
We just read a review that somebody said they love to listen with their teenager on their rides to school in the morning. So
yeah, so all right.
We're family friendly.
I'll try not to say that again.
No.
Okay, so
those are all 3 of our bleeps.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
Jellycat.
Well, we'll get into Jellycat. Okay, listen.
Yes.
Brand of the week, Cincinnati.
Oh, my God.
It was all over the news. Every freak, I think, sent me a link to
it.
My dad called me.
Based on how much people reached out about this, You would think it was like the number one news story that like the Today Show had dedicated all 4 hours to it. It was like, stop the presses.
The fires are over. All we care about now is the collaboration between two Cincinnati Titans, Grater's Ice Cream, which I have not done yet, but I will.
Iconic.
And Skyline Chili.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Is there a more important collab for you in the history of time?
I don't even know what it would be. It's like better than anything Diet Coke has done. And it's one of those collabs. It leaked. Who knows? I'm sure they probably leaked it themselves a couple of months ago just to get people talking about it. But it leaked a couple of months
That's like
ago.
what we did with the Patreon. We leaked it to get people excited.
Don't tell them the name, off-brand. But yeah, it's like one of those things, like when everyone hears about it, instantly they're like, no, absolutely not, vomit face. Like everyone is so negative about it.
You know, here's why I think it could work. The cinnamon.
Yeah. So what did not come out in the leak that has now been revealed, and it drops tomorrow.
You said that it's Skyline Chili flavored ice cream?
Well, yeah, that's what they initially said. That it's but now that it's come out, the flavor is actually called Skyline Spice. And Cincinnati chili is known for having, people think there's chocolate in it, even though I think that's been debunked. People say there's cinnamon in it. There's like just different spices in it. And my understanding is that's what this ice cream is. I think it's a vanilla base with these different spices, which is probably fantastic. And what they've done that's really fun, if you've never eaten a Skyline chili, you always get a side of oyster crackers. So my understanding is miniature little oyster crackers in it, which why not? It's the same as having like a crust in it.
Absolutely.
Just some non-sweet thing.
I'm wondering if it's an engineered oyster cracker to withstand the ice cream.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Kind of like when it's like, that's what's happened with the cookie dough. Like sometimes I just want to eat the cookie dough thinking it's just like normal cookie dough, and it's not. It's like,
not.
It's ice cream cookie dough.
Because they have to tinker in there a little bit. Otherwise it would be frozen solid. Like the greatest mystery of my lifetime. Why is the caramel in a Snickers ice cream bar liquid gold?
I think they just have...
It flows like Niagara Falls once you take a bite.
You know, I think about caramel a lot. I was thinking about it recently, how many different versions of caramel there are. And I think
and versions to say it. Caramel, where do you fall?
Yeah, it's like you've got your Snickers caramel. There's just every kind of candy bar has a...
To me, my favorite type of caramel, the wetter, the better.
Okay, well, that's your philosophy in life. Teens,
I don't want
cover your ears.
A dusty Rolo caramel. To me, that's the worst.
Literally,
is that your favorite?
Literally had Rolos 2 days ago. Okay, here's the story with that. Do you remember when I bought 23 rolls of wrapping paper?
Yes.
Okay, what I did not tell you at that... at that Target too, I found a large bag of Christmas Rolos, and when I went to scan it to see how much they were, it said "item not found," which means it's been taken on the system. So I took it up to the cashier.
Of course, you know what the codes mean.
So I took it up to the woman running the self checkout. She didn't know how much it was. She takes it over to the manager. She comes back. She's like 80 cents. I was like, "What?"
Oh my
it's
God.
like 9 pounds of Rolos. I'm like, absolutely. So I got a wheelbarrow.
This was like the wrapping paper and the Rolos. That was like the last SKU before dumpster, right? Like that was the last.
I think it may some things go to Goodwill. They have a relationship with Goodwill.
I hope so.
So with the chili, I think a lot of people and I kind of was thinking it was basically like they were taking a can of chili and freezing it, and you're just like scooping out like chunks of meat. There was rumors that there was going to be cheese in it. Now that it's revealed, it's probably a lot more benign. Actually, it's getting really good reviews. People are saying it's delicious.
It sounds fine. It sounds kind of like a warming spices vanilla ice cream with like a pie crust. That feels to me like, or even like saltines. Like saltines translate really well to sweet stuff. I'm not scared. I wouldn't be scared of this at all. I think that's like, it's fine.
I know. I wish it was easier to get.
I know.
I'm not, by any means, I wouldn't expect any of our listeners to spend $125 to send us a 6-pint pack from Grater's. But if you
some
do,
people have offered.
Hit us up. I'll tell you what 6 pints to buy.
And you will get John's personal address.
That has been given out recently. I should probably be a little worried.
Oh, you know what? Al has some news. He made a big purchase yesterday. So I'll tell you a story. Al ate some soup over at our house and he left a bowl here. And then so I sent one of my kids over to go deliver the bowl, and Al goes, "Oh, thank you. I've needed my bowl." And we were like, "What, my bowl?" Al had one bowl and one spoon.
So he didn't leave a bowl. He left the bowl.
He left the bowl.
Al and I. So I already knew this. So then this came up when I was here the other night, and I'm like, You have one bowl? He's like, yeah. He's like, how many bowls do you have? And I literally can't count how many bowls I have. I have
countless.
Like 4 that are for cereal. I have 2 that are just for pasta. I was like, I have the mixing bowls. He's like, mixing bowls? I'm like, I have like 3 sets of mixing bowls. I probably, when I'm all in, I probably have 49 bowls.
Yeah.
He has apple. So he was going to go to Target.
And a spoon.
That's stupid.
Apple,
like,
a spoon. I know. So Al took it upon himself. He went to Target and he got bowls.
How
and
many?
he got spoons.
You know, if you go to IKEA, they sell like a new apartment like box. Like you get like all the things you need.
It's perfect for when you're 18, you're starting out on your own, your
when
new
you're 43,
place.
It's like whatever you need. So you got some bowls. Are they cute or were they like plain white?
They're plain white.
Oh, boy.
God.
But they're big for oatmeal.
Oh, good.
Because you know what? He told me that he had so much oatmeal in the pot the other day, he had to fill up his previous bowl 2 times.
This is no indication of what off-brand will be, just so you know.
Well, I mean,
I keep having to make oatmeal disclaimers on this show.
Alistair is going to start a rival Patreon that's all about oatmeal. Yeah. Talking oats with Al.
Oh, my God. I'll subscribe.
We should get a discount.
All right. So should we get into Jellycat?
Jellycat is huge, and I'm interested to know how many of our listeners are like,
don't even know what it is.
Because I feel like it's so... There's nobody who's like, oh, I think I kind of know Jellycat. You either know Jellycat because you have kids in your life, or you're like, I've never heard of it.
Never. I bet it's very divided.
Interesting.
Even making the Insta egg, I'm like, I was like, I don't think people are going to know this brand. So right now I literally have a giant piece of toast with jelly on it and a cat on top of that.
Jam kitty.
Jam cat. And then people will do that. They'll be like, cat sandwich?
Yeah. But it's fun. I think it's fun to do ones that are a little more obscure. Yeah. Like, they don't all have to be, Target. I do think this is one of the ones now, once we're done with it, when people are out in the world, you will start to see Jellycats everywhere. If you're in a gift shop, they are really embracing the viral moment. They have pop-up shops now that are just wildly popular, and they're kind of all over the place. I went into it loving it, and now I'm like leaving it like, do I? I don't know. Interesting.
They're a little expensive and maybe getting a little too big for their britches, but I mean, they are full-on warning. I'm going to probably say the word cute 10 million times. They are the cutest
They're very cute.
toys in the world.
They have, and not all stuffed animals are the same. And if you have ever had to buy a stuffed animal for somebody or you have them in your life, you know that the flop varies. The bean placement varies. A teddy bear with no beans or an animal with no beans, it just is kind of like lifeless. It's like soulless. But
it sounds like a movie Oprah would have produced, a teddy bear with no beans.
The Jellycat stuffies, what do we call them? Plushies, stuffies, stuffed
I love
animals?
that you asked that. They're called, in England, and maybe here too, in the industry, I think they're called soft goods.
Soft goods.
But they're also, we'll probably call them plushies in the show. Or jellies.
Soft goods feels vulgar. I don't know. I don't like that.
Babe.
Dry goods, soft goods. I don't know. Something about it.
Yeah, you definitely like hard goods, I think, more than soft goods. We will also, Jellycats themselves are also referred to as jellies.
So the jellies have the best bean placement, which lends itself to a really cute, lifelike, almost like animated flop. So it feels like they have beans in the feet, they have beans in the butt. They're not overstuffed to where they're like so tight and stiff. They have just a real like life of their own.
Yeah.
They're so special.
Yeah, they've become very known for their cute designs, and now it's all over the board. It's not just animals, and we'll get to that. It could be literally anything. It could be a TV remote control.
Yeah.
It'll have tiny little eyes and a little smiley face, and it's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
So cute.
If you're not familiar with them, it's because they are a company from the UK. It's a private company, but they are 26 years old. They were much more popular in the UK before they were here, but now they're definitely like a global brand. And they're one of those things that they're like, they do have a high price point for what a plushie is. So they're kind of seen when you do give it as a gift, it's kind of like, oh, I got Godiva chocolates. I got a Jellycat. Like I saw this term when I was doing research, middle class luxury, which I
yes.
think is kind of like those brands that are still like, it's like what your celebrity friend would get as a gift that they'll give to you for free because they don't care about it. But to you, it's like, holy shit, I got MAC makeup.
Yeah, that's right. And I think there's a lot of products that fall into that category. Like lipstick is one of them. It's like slightly more expensive than the drugstore version. So the Jellycat is slightly more expensive than like the little Thai big-eyed leopard that you're going to get at CVS.
Right.
But it's not
You're
like...
not getting Jellycats at CVS, period.
It's not like unaffordable if you're thinking about like a baby shower gift. You know what I mean?
I also put in that same vein that I think that's what makes it so perfect for collectors because it's like, I
really
don't want to spend $40, but it's been a long week. It's Friday. I'm going to stop and see what new Jellycats are out and treat myself to a little jelly.
Here's my question. Do you have any personal Jellycats?
I don't. I was thinking of that today. I don't own a Jellycat.
That's interesting because you are somebody who has stuffed animals on their bed.
I have octopus and disco ball pillow. Which is also new from the Target Christmas. I ended up buying a lot of things in this Target Christmas clearance thing that I did not tell you about.
Okay, so there was the wrapping paper, the Rolos, and a disco ball pillow.
Well, the disco ball pillow only came about because when I was checking out I was buying the wrapping paper, I was buying it at the customer service desk. And you know how at Target they'll have carts and carts of stuff
like
that they've collected,
yeah.
go-backs? There was a disco ball pillow in there. So she started going through stuff. She's like, you might like this. I was getting upsold at Target.
Oh my
and I'm like,
God.
I do like that disco ball pillow. She scanned it $1. It had been $10. I walked out of there. I didn't tell you this. I got like 4 or 5 records too. They were down to $2. I spent, I think, $24. I got 22 rolls of wrapping paper, 8 pounds of Rolos, a disco ball pillow, 4 or 5 records. It was
and anything else?
I'm like, ugh.
And anything else?
Probably, but I can't think of it right now. But I'm sure maybe. Milk.
You love your Target
Literally,
milk.
that's all I had gone there for. I was like, I'm just here for this. I think, now that I think about it, I think I bought all that stuff, got to my car, and I was like, I forgot the milk. I had to go back and get the milk.
She didn't have like a dusty old milk and a go back card. She's like, you love this milk. It's down to 5 cents.
It's room
Throw
temperature.
it in for free.
I bought 4 bowls.
Oh, Jesus. Ow.
Oh.
Full price bowls.
Oh, full price. Is there anything worse? Bowls and full price.
Those bowls will last him, honestly, the next 200 years.
I'm not going to lie. I've had my bowls for over 20 years.
Wow.
I got my bowls are Pottery Barn bowls that I got at Big Lots. It was like they were like close out at Pottery Barn, and they gave them all. They were called I remember it was called their supper time line. Just a great industrial. Nice
heavy bowl. Mm-hmm.
And I bought all my plates, bowls, and everything at Big Lots when I first moved to LA.
Wow.
And I'm still using that same set of dishes.
Well, I have a sad dish report. I had just bought 6 salad plates from Target, and not 1 hour having the set at home, got a chip on the corner of one of them on the edge.
Those newer plates are so chippy.
It was so like instant rage.
Yeah.
Level 10 rage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Justified.
God.
Everything is cheap now.
Everything's cheap. Yeah, these bowls have lasted you 20 years.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to.
don't
This is when we
make
get
'em.
really old and crotchety when we talk about how they do not make things like they used to.
What's crazy, even with one of my bowls over the years, it's developed a crack like right down in the middle of it in the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even leak. It's like that bowl's like, yeah, I can handle a few cracks. You're good. I'm like, cool bowl.
Oh, honey, it's going to take a lot more than that to send me a shattering. Nowadays, it's like, oh, I feel a crack. Uh-oh, I'm about to bust.
It just disintegrates.
It's terrible. Speaking of quality, though, to bring it back, if we're talking about they don't make things like they used to, Jellycat, I would say you're getting what you pay for.
You really are, and we
really
will
are.
definitely get to the quality of the workmanship.
This is a stuffy that will last a lifetime.
I'm also going to go in with a quick disclaimer. Jellycat, the 2 founders don't do interviews.
Oh.
Over the last 26 years, I have found 2 interviews, one from like 2001 and one from like 3 years ago. The guy said almost the same thing in both of the interviews.
Weird.
And their philosophy that they say is they would just rather have the fans speak for the brand. So this was a tough one for me to research.
Oh my gosh.
It got to a point where it's like, I don't know if I should even do this. But
I feel like we're
I
on like
sorted
the
it out.
cusp of like an expose, like we need a docu-series.
I
We need
wish.
12 Netflix episodes. My question, John,
yeah.
these brothers, they're British. Are they hot?
This is like the one time I have like modern footage of one of them. He's like an old man. I will have to, in myself, if I get...
Old men can be hot, John. They can be. An old British man.
Wow. I have
Sir
just learned a lesson
Patrick Stewart.
because I was just complaining that people only say I look good if I've lost weight, and now I am saying you only look good if you're young. I am what I complain about. You're right. Old men can be hot.
The old men can. That is our official
First patch.
on-brand sentiment. We stand by it.
Old men can be hot.
Old men can be hot.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you feeling stuck in your career or lacking employment at the moment? Experiencing symptoms of job dissatisfaction? You might be suffering from a common condition known as career stagnation. But don't worry, there's a solution. Monster.com. Monster.com offers a comprehensive suite of career-boosting tools designed just for you. Our free resume review and AI interview prep tool will help you stand out from the crowd. Need more guidance? Dive into our career advice articles for expert tips and insights. And don't forget to check out our salary tools to ensure you're getting paid what you're worth. Side effects may include a new job, increased confidence, and a brighter future. Consult Monster.com today and take the first step towards your new career. Ready for your next job opportunity? Visit Monster.com now.
Okay, so, it wouldn't be me unless I quickly talked about the history of soft goods.
Take me there, John. Take me there. I'm on the ride.
All right, so it's 1918. Titanic sank 6 years ago. The hottest soft good out is... Brother,
Choo Choo
Sister.
Charlie. 1918.
1918.
Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Raggedy
Was
Ann.
it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Raggedy Ann and Andy hit the scene. There was books with them, very popular plush. I'm just throwing them out there because I was like, when did plushes start? I picture probably a lot of soft goods in the 1800s were just made by your mom. It was just hay and a sock
with burlap sack.
Button eyes.
With button eyes.
So Raggedy Andy, I'm throwing in as one of the early ones. Then I'm jumping to the 80s. And, of course, you have Cabbage Patch Kid. That's one of the biggest ones. We did a show on it. If you haven't heard it, it's really funny. Go listen to it. The 80s, you also had Strawberry Shortcake. You had Pound Puppies, Glowworms, My Little Ponies, Teddy Ruxpin. I'm assuming he counts as a soft good, even though he had a lot of robotics inside of him.
He was hard. Some parts of him were harder than soft.
Oh, yeah. Some of them were really hard. He had that whole cassette tape in his back.
Did Teddy Ruxpin give you
Beat that out. The Patreon hasn't dropped. I kind of wanted a Teddy Ruxpin, but not enough where I asked for it.
To me, that was sure, I would ask, but I would never expect to get. That price point was a little high for our family.
I don't remember what it was. I'm going to assume a Teddy Ruxpin was around $70.
I was about to say $89.99.
Yeah.
Which nowadays, imagine $400 teddy bear with a cassette player in the back.
That's part of what it got me off on Jellycat. Some of their bigger plushies are $200-$400.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah. So then the 90s, who do we have? Tickle Me Elmo, of course. Furbies. Beanie Babies, another one we've done an episode on. If you haven't listened to, go check it out. Beanie Babies, as I'm sure you mentioned in your show, was considered the first internet sensation. Then 1997 is a huge year. Obviously, Titanic the movie came out, but it was also kind of the peak of Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
So then it's 1999, and that's where our story begins. And we've got these two brothers, Thomas and William Gatacre. Thomas was a big fan of design, and he had worked in the soft good industry previous to this. And then his brother, William, worked for a U.S. oil company. And according to William, the toy industry in the 90s was getting very tired and bare. And he would refer to it as the soft toy industry as being taxidermy soft toys. So it was all basic, very basic, like a teddy bear.
It's kind of like what I think I was trying to describe, like the stuffed, tight, soulless. Yeah. The faraway gaze, dead-eyed teddy bear.
Yeah, it's just the animals represent what they are. They just like a dead version of a live animal.
Yes.
So they were convinced that they could refresh this. And the way they were looking at it, they're like, if you were to make let's say a rabbit, you don't just make a rabbit. You can make that rabbit 1,000 ways, playing with the different materials that you use for it, expressions, colors. There's just 1,000 different ways that you can present it. So they were really excited by that. So in 1999, they put their money together and they started their own soft toy company. So then they needed a name for it. Everyone does, right?
Yeah, of
It
course.
took us a minute. A lot of people don't know this, but there was a point when we were considering calling our podcast Brand Loyal. So on
that's
TikTok,
right.
when I'm going through, I immediately made a folder in my TikTok favorites. So anything that came up that I thought I might want to talk about on the pod, I put it in
how
in a
funny.
folder called Brand Loyal.
Brand Loyal.
So coming up with a name is very important. I love On Brand.
Me too.
So they batted around names for a long time, couldn't figure out anything. And then out of the blue, one day, Thomas's 7-year-old son, Jack, just
Dropped a sandwich on the cat. Jelly side down. Open-faced jelly sandwich.
I love that. It's like how Reese's cups were invented. Like they accidentally dropped a chocolate bar in the peanut butter jar. They walked in the kitchen and Jack just had a cat's tail sticking out of his mouth and jelly all around his lips.
Yep.
And like, what are you doing? And he's like, Jellycat.
That was very Star Wars. What's that guy's name?
Obi-Wan?
No, the big guy.
Chewbacca?
No, the big guy.
Darth Vader.
No,
Jabba. Jellycat Solo.
Is it canon that Jabba eats cats? Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Alf. You got confused with Alf and Jabba the Hutt?
I mean, they're both
80s
aliens.
puppets.
They're both aliens. They're both 80s puppets.
Man, we'll have to talk about Alf someday. They never got a last episode, and they were like, it is one of the most disturbing endings of a television show ever. It's like Alf in the woods being surrounded by policemen with guns.
This sounds like a great Patreon. We'll watch the last
We'll
episode
watch
of
the
Alf.
last Alf. So anyway, out of nowhere, his son Jack was just like, Jellycat. And they're like, what?
Wait,
He's like,
what did you say?
Jellycat.
He was just about to get spanked, and then he said Jellycat, and it was like, hang on.
Wiggles his tush. Jellycat. Apparently, he just really liked cats, and he loved jellies, which in the UK is like, my understanding is kind of like a Jell-O. It's not,
Okay. Well, I mean, it is a perfect name. It's great.
he loved the softness of cats and he loved the jiggle of the Jell-O. And they're
Perfect.
like, that name makes no sense and yet says everything we want it to say. It totally stuck. They loved it. And fun fact, I did not know this. Are you familiar with the Jellycat logo?
Yes. I want to say, it's a cat. It's a little black and white cat.
Yeah.
Yes. Does it have like a party hat on or something?
So it's this. So it's this black and white cat with this little hat on.
Yeah.
It's not a hat. That thing on his head is a Jell-O mold, and those little lines next to it are the jiggling Jell-O.
What?
I never knew that.
Oh
So that
my
was one of the things I
gosh.
learned on this. I was like, he has a little orange beanie. No,
Yes.
that's a little jelly mold.
Oh my gosh, how funny. Wow. I'll never look at it the same way again.
And his name is Jellycat Jack, named after Jack, the little 7-year-old boy.
That is
so it's
very
all very
sweet.
cute.
Oh,
Love
that's
it.
cute.
Yeah. So I have a note in my notes that just says reenactment because I didn't write a reenactment for this show. As you know, sometimes I like to do a little reenactment. So I was like, for here, we could, if I wanted to do a reenactment, it would probably be at this point where I'm just like an little English 7-year-old boy, but I can't do an English accent, right? So he'd be like, I would just do that. I would just do it in English.
You'll do what?
I would be the 7-year-old boy. Can you do one?
I'd like to hear you try.
Jelly. Now I feel like I can do one, but now I can't because I always do a thing where I say, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Where I'm like, it's a Jellycat, yeah?
Okay, I think that worked.
All right, we'll just say that.
So I'll put some clip clops under that.
No, this is only
We still had horses in 1999.
9. There was no horses in 99.
They've all been eaten.
What animals did we have in 99?
What was the most popular animal in 1999? Maybe a golden retriever.
Yeah, put a golden retriever in there. All right, so now they have the company started. They've got the name. Now they have to figure out the product. So they go into this with this founding principle that if you produce beautiful things, people will buy them. I mean, that's not very deep, and I think most people...
It's how we live.
It's how we live.
If you produce a beautiful pod.
And we've talked about this in other episodes. Late 90s, early 2000s design. It's everywhere. It's like it has become the power of the people to have good design. Like that's when Pottery Barn was having its moment. Like we've talked about the Ralph Lauren paint at Home Depot. Like everyone kind of had their like became designers. It
Yes.
wasn't like good design wasn't just for rich people. And that's kind of what Jellycat was trying to embrace. So to them, they thought if you want to create beautiful things, you have to really hyper focus on design. And I think that that is really something, maybe on a subconscious level, is why I was drawn to them. I don't know if you know this. When I went to college in Cincinnati, I went for design.
Yes,
I went
that's
for
right.
graphic design. Like I had a dream at one point to design album covers. So I went to University of Cincinnati School of Design, Art, Architecture, and Planning. It was a wonderful design school. I didn't finish that program, but I've always had like a real affinity for like good design.
I think you still could design album covers.
I feel confident that
Julia Child didn't start cooking until she was 45.
yeah, maybe I will.
So you still have time until you're 45.
Okay. Well, when I hit 45, I'll start designing album covers. And I almost feel like with what I was talking about with like that cuteness level, like I feel like it's one of those things that'll come out at one point that they like literally figured out like the formula for cuteness. Like, you know how like there was a time where like people would like scan their faces, or you'd put your face in a thing and it was like, this is the formula for what an attractive person looks like the symmetry of whatever your face is. I feel like
This is what percent ugly you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine was always quite high.
Those are very mean.
Yeah. But I feel like that they kind of did that with like cuteness. I don't know what it is, but
well, features very close together. They say that that's like looks like a baby, and that's going to be very cute. Eyes, nose, and mouth very close together.
right. Like, but I'm sure that there's like some like
There's
math
a perfect
formula.
ratio,
Like it has to be
yes.
like the eyes have to be exactly 43 degrees this and whatever.
I'm sure. And then slap it on a little stuffed avocado, and it's like, oh my God, that's the cutest avocado I've ever seen.
And the seed will be his little belly. Oh my God. And now they're making frowny things. Like they have this real frowny turtle that I'm so in love with.
They have sad ones now.
He's
That's
like
very
grumpy.
cute.
I think they look more grumpy than sad. They're like,
That feels like a very loaded baby shower gift, though, if you're getting somebody a sad stuffed animal.
here, this is for your grumpy baby.
Uh-huh.
And this also goes hand in hand with something that you and I have talked about before. And I think I told you this once, and like months later, you're like, I still think about that thing that you said, where I look around the world realizing that every single thing that we're looking at was a decision somebody made.
Yes.
Like, and I think of that with Jellycat. Like the fur was a decision, like the mixture of furs. A lot of them will have like corduroy legs, and like apparently they use this fabric that's like finer than human hair, like that, like kind of makes people addicted to touching it. Like they do all of these choices to like really get people to like want to get in there with their
An
product.
irresistible fur.
Yeah.
You went through a fur phase.
I'm still in it.
Are you really?
I still
How
sleep-
many furs are on your bed right now?
One. I'm
Okay.
right now sleeping with one, kind of like a golden lab colored fur.
How many furs do you have?
I think 6.
You kind of went through this thing where it was that same thing. It was like you had standards, because I remember we'd be in like a Marshalls. For some reason, we would be in a Marshalls, and I would say like
Marshall's
or
fur.
and no, it was like maybe a Home Goods, and
They're
I'd be
all
like,
the same. They're
they're
all the same company.
and I would say, "Oh, John, here's a fur," and you'd be like, "Oh God, that fur is trash." Like you had standards of your fur. It had to be like
Only
the
Crate and
highest
Barrel.
of the high end.
Not that it had to be Crate and Barrel. I just went there once, and their fur, like their faux furs, are just on another level. Now every other faux fur feels like rat fur.
Yeah, it has to have that like minky quality.
It's so minky, and like throughout the night, I'm like slithering my hands and legs in it, like just twisting it and turning it.
So if one is covering your bed, why 6?
Well, 5 in storage. I have all my other bedding in storage.
Are they all from Crate and Barrel?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
those are,
It's like whenever
that's a
one would
premium
go
fur.
on clearance, I'd grab that color.
It's a premium fur.
There's a hunter green, there's brown, there's gray, there's all.
Well, maybe if somebody subscribes to our premium Patreon tier
Nobody's getting one of my fur. Oh,
for the
maybe for the.
super secret premium tier.
They would have to be subscribed to it for a year.
Okay, we'll see.
Not 1 month.
If they know that's on the line, that might incentivize them. Let's just say there's some perks that come with the prestige.
We may have a very premium.
It's like how if
tier.
you pay for like box seats at like a Lakers game, you're like, ooh, I get like free, M&Ms.
Yeah, and maybe with my fur, I'll do a squirt of my own little cologne on it, so you'll know what I smell like too.
This is getting very tempting. Someone could lay nude on a fur that smells like you.
With their soft goods.
And they know your address, so
Oh,
it's
God.
perfect.
I just leave the door unlocked and wait. I thought he'd come. So basically, all these design decisions, like the quality of the materials and everything, like you were talking about, like beam proportion and everything.
I mean, it feels like it's the same thing. the quality of the fur, the minkiness of the fur. They probably tested like how many beans is just right. Like, 30's not enough. 32 is too much. Like, they got it down to the bean.
Right. And like some guy's going to be like, Bill, I don't feel the difference between 30 and 31. And Bill's like, and that's why you're fired. Be out of here by the end of the day.
Finish your day.
That seriously. Finish your day. Don't steal anything from your computer.
Do you steal when you're fired?
Yes. Of course.
What do you take?
I can't talk about it. This goes out to my boss.
Pens, paper.
Babe, I don't work in a 1980s office. I work from home.
That like brown box, like that file box.
Yeah, the file box with like my nameplate.
Your sad plant sticking out, your fish.
Best employee mug. Yeah, I take it all. All right, so their design philosophy, what is that all about? So when they come up with ideas, they try to not put any limitations on what issues could arise because they don't want that to restrict their imagination.
That is a great creative process.
They also don't want anything that could inspire design to be off the table.
Okay.
So obviously it could be animals, but it could be art. It could be architecture. It could be gym equipment, food, books. Literally,
you could be walking down the street having just passed a half-eaten corn dog on the sidewalk.
And that's a toy.
And that's a toy.
You'll see the corn dog and it'll have a cute little bite out of it.
And it's frowning.
And it's frowning because he was bitten. Yeah. I mean, seriously, a little kid, Jack, could be blowing a bubble sitting on a curb and they're like, a bubble, put Google eyes on it.
Yeah.
We're going to make $10 million from it by Christmas.
And this is amazing. I love it. No bad ideas. That's how we push the pod as well.
And they were also big, and I think still are, on paying attention to what's going on in the world. This is how old one of the articles I read was. The reference they gave were like, if the world's going through a Laura Ashley phase, then that's what we'll put out there too. It's like, Laura Ashley. That's like 1985. Okay.
Yeah, they go back in time.
But I think in general, it's kind of like how the Pantone color is. Like they're always trying to like not put out what is popular now, but kind of put out what they think is popular next year.
And by the way, we talked about the new Pantone color. Have we talked about that?
Poop brown?
No, it's not poop
Mocha
brown.
latte?
It's like nipple mauve. It's very nipply.
Babe, your nipples are that brown?
It's not
like
brown.
Chocolate babe.
It's not brown. I literally saw a sofa upholstered in it. It's a mauvey, blushy brown pink.
It's mocha mousse.
Yeah, but it's like there's a pink to it. There's like a blush to it.
You're insane.
I think this, and for how much backlash this color got, in the context of you're just seeing a swatch, you're not seeing like how it would be used. I saw like Pantone's color of the year was like, it was a couch upholstered in this. There's like other kind of like a bowl in this color or whatever. And it's like, yes, it's the same thing. This is the color.
You don't think that's brown?
No, I see that as being very labial. It's kind of like color of like a butthole.
What is going on with your body? You need to go see your gyno.
I'm telling you this. Honestly, bring a Pantone swatch direct to your butthole.
Check out my nips and my lab because something's going on.
Show me your nipple right now. I want to hold it up against. Show me your nipple. Hold it up against the monitor.
There's a camera.
I'll turn the camera off.
Okay, it's off.
I mean, it is similar.
Mine's super pink.
It is similar. I'm saying like
How did we get off on this?
People will snub something like that. They'll be like, "Oh, what is that? Like that's not good." And then I'm telling you, in like a year, this is going to be the color everybody's been waiting for. And I think it's the same thing as what you're saying.
That is what it's supposed to be. I do not feel like this upcoming year, I'm all about mocha mousse.
Well, your nipple tells another story. Look at your butthole in a mirror and tell me it's not mocha mousse.
Babe, we have teens listening to this show. They're uncomfortable with their bodies.
They're on their way to school.
Pull over. Their mom's pulled over. She's like, I don't know. And she's looking for another pod to listen to. I thought this was a good one.
I call in sick. Spend the rest of your day. Pantone.com.
Ugh. What is the one thing they do not use for design inspiration?
Probably buttholes and labias. I'm way off.
You gotta.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm way off.
We're not getting into Turd Town on this episode. What other companies are doing. So
okay, yes.
They're not going to look at any other toy companies. That's the one thing that's off limit. If they're copying what somebody else is doing, they're already behind the curve.
I love that.
They don't want that at all.
I love that.
Okay, so now they've got their design philosophy. They've made their Jellycats. What's the first Jellycat? Nobody knows. It's kind of gotten lost to time. They made a whole collection.
How can nobody know?
Nobody knows. Well, the company probably knows, but they don't really do interviews and
It's
stuff.
not on their timeline like Jellycat.com about us timeline.
I wish it did. I saw many things that said you could look at the archives of the old Jellycats online, and there was like 8 on there.
I'm going to say it was a hippo.
I think it might have been a giraffe.
Okay.
But it was probably a basic safari animal.
Mm-hmm.
So then they do a trade show. This was very reminiscent of Rubik Cube. They had a small booth in a trade show, showed off their collection, and I wanted to know what they were doing, so where did I go? And I've decided that I need some sort of music cue for this, because I jumped into the Wayback Machine. And when I do that, I want to hear like music taking me back.
What kind of is it like 80s kind of cyber music? Like
I think it's like magical 80s travel back in time music.
Great. Al, you got that?
Why don't we quickly just jump into the Wayback Machine? So I'm looking at their website from like 2001, I think was the first hit that had pictures. And I got to say, so you know a Jellycat. Once you know the brand, I think, and you look at them, you know you're looking at a Jellycat.
Oh, of course, yes.
And it's kind of the same back then, but the Jellycats back then do not look like the Jellycats now.
It's like old, like first episode Homer.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So they had all these different lines. They had one called Ping Pong Cats, Dingly Danglies, Riff Ruffians.
You think I'm being lewd?
Babe, clean it up.
Dingly Danglies? Oh, boy.
Okay, fair. I mean, Dingly Danglies, they just had...
Right in me dingly danglies.
I mean, they just had ropes for legs.
Oh, those are dingly danglies.
They weren't nut sacks.
No bad ideas.
No bad ideas.
No bad ideas.
We can take inspiration from nut sacks.
A sad little nut
William,
sack.
I want to show you. It's got cute smile. It's a frowny nut sack.
Well, one could be frowning,
And
one could be smiling.
It's the first one that has like a voice thing that's just like, oh, nuts.
They should have grown up Jellycats.
So, yeah, so I just showed you what some of the old ones look like. And they're still like, to me, they're very of the time. They're very late 90s. Like, you would see one on like an episode of Friends.
Yes. Isn't that funny? You can tell. Like, I wonder if 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you'll look back and you'll see like a Jellycat avocado and go, oh my God, that was so 2024. 2024? I forgot what year it is.
25. Maybe.
2025.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know if this fall. I don't know. That's a good question. And hopefully we'll be living to answer that and still doing the show for
we'll
free.
report back.
But I feel like the ones from the 90s kind of fall into the design aesthetics of other things from that time.
That's true.
And I guess this does too. Like if you go by some of those like Korean toy stores or Asian toy stores, they have those very cutesy like squishy sushis and squishmallows.
Yes.
They're kind of all in that same...
To me, it's when the mouth is on the same horizontal line as the eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, that actually seemed like thought about and thoughtful. And aren't you going to say something?
I just feel like that's like Jellycat. It's very of the time. And it is kind of like, it seems like a Japanese or Sanrio almost inspired. To me, that'll be like the timestamp of the time is the smiley face.
Yeah.
On the same line as the
Yeah.
eyes.
Or just in general, like cute faces on anything.
It does look very cute, yeah.
On any object.
Yes, yes.
So they did not have focus groups when they did this. They really believed in like following their gut. Mm-hmm. They said there was something very satisfying about like having an idea, following your gut, making it, and if it does sell, feeling a lot of pride in that.
That's great, yes.
And so they released these to the public in 99, and they gained loyal customers pretty quickly. By 2001, they're already considered a very successful company. They've gotten their toys into a lot of the big stores in the UK, like Paul Smith, Selfridges, Harrods. They were even in a gift shop at Buckingham Palace.
Wow.
They opened up an office in Minneapolis. They now have an office in Shanghai, China. And they're now selling jellies all over the world. And during this time, as they were growing, they never relied on any sort of like traditional marketing. It was all about word of mouth. It was all about being placed in like these kind of like upscale. And we're going to get to that at the very end. Like they're less of a toy store item than they are a gift shop item, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But then I read something at the very end of my research that I was a little like, poo-pooed by. But we'll get to that at the end. They had a couple of moments where like celebrity kids were seen photographed with them. Suri Cruise, of course, had a bashful bunny. Harper Beckham had a Bashful Soother, which is like a little blanket thing, and also Bashful Bunny. And then Fuddle Wuddle Puppy was selling out at outlets all over because Princess Charlotte was photographed with one.
Of course.
And everyone wants
a royal stuffy.
A princess wants. So I think like for a lot of their history, even though they were in the US, and maybe they just weren't on my radar, but I do feel like I have a pretty good idea of what was out there. I still think that they were a much more popular UK brand. I feel like they really started to gain steam here in like the last 10 years and really like the last like 8 or so. But during all this time, they were really big on innovating. I think what they did that was very smart is they started to learn what their like iconic characters were, which was the Bashful Bunny and Bartholomew the Bear, and they released those. Now, I mean, the bunny is definitely their most popular toy. It comes out in different colors and different fabrics, and like people that want to just collect those, that's a whole different
There
subset.
are people who do that.
Yeah.
Like adult collectors.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we'll
wow.
get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. But on top of like those like staples that they have, they're always innovating. And that's what I was talking about, design. And like 2018 was like a huge year for them because that's when they released their Amusables line. And that's when really everything's on the table. You're finding like a hockey puck with little eyes, a little baseball with a baseball cap. It's like eggs became very popular. You have like a little hard-boiled egg with Easter bunny ears, or like you've got there. I saw a kettlebell. It's like everything. Like you keep finding things. You're like, that is like, who wants a kettlebell?
It was like, I need 100 ideas on my desk by Monday.
And we'll
it's
make
like,
them all.
Just look around your apartment. What do you see?
Basically.
A microwave, a toaster.
Yeah, it's like that episode of Brady Bunch where she's like trying to name her fake boyfriend.
Oh.
She's like, George Glass.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Glass.
Jan's working
There's a
at
toilet
Jellycat.
paper roll. There's a coffee cup that came really hot. Like, and what the other thing they do that is so brilliant for collectors is things are constantly retired. So they have drops twice a year now. I don't think this was always the case, but now every January and June, they release about 200 new toys. So to do that, they're constantly retiring things. And speaking from a collector's heart, there's nothing that you want more than something that's hard to get.
I mean, the amount of new objects they're going to have to personify. 200 it's insane.
Twice a year. I know. I saw one collector who's like, I've spent $4,000 on Jellycats, and she had only started collecting that year. She had bought so many.
God.
So I'm kind of grateful that as much as I like them, I don't have a pull to collect them. They're too expensive.
Yeah.
There's a couple that, sure, I would enjoy having, but I don't feel like I need to get them.
Thank
I have
God.
a $7 octopus from IKEA, which satisfies me very well compared to the $50.
Stroking those tentacles under a fur blanket.
I do. Like, they have a nice texture to them. Nice little bumps.
You have something going on with
And then I
these textures.
slither into that fur. My bed is the place to be.
Jeans, socks, shoes. Slithering around. Fully dressed.
Full fur. Octopus.
A lot going on.
God, my
have you been
dating
sleeping
profile.
have you been sleeping in clothes lately? It's been quite cold.
I've been taking my pants off, but I've been wearing
shoes on, no pants.
Shoes on, tap shoes on. When I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I like to tap there.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is my issue with the retiring of the jellies. Jon got my daughter a Jellycat for when she was born, and kids have a thing with these because my son got one when he was born too, and they are drawn to the Jellycat. Like, you get given a lot of stuffed animals, I swear, I must not be the only one. It's like they know a Jellycat, and it becomes like the favorite stuffed animal out of all the rest.
That's what I'm saying. I think the company has a way to get us addicted to them.
They do some data on it to figure out.
So I got her this lion, very cute, lanky little lion, long legs, long arms, super cute.
Yes, long leg lion. And this became like the stuffed animal where it was like as soon as she would start to cry, it would be like, I need lion. Like, and that would happen, throughout the day. Had to have it at school. If we left it at school, we had to like go back and get it after like I'd already picked her up. It became like a whole thing. Obviously, they retire these stuffed animals. That will incite panic in a parent because of what if something happens to this lion, I need to have a backup. So I did purchase a backup, and I'll take a picture of these side by side and we can post it. The one that's very loved on, and then the one that is new, who is the backup lion. She's now older, so it's not quite as much. She's not quite as like attached to it so dearly, but I do have a backup just in case. But this is like a thing with parents is like, what if you leave the very special Jellycat like on a bus or something? Like, It's gone.
That
It's gone forever.
A father in one of the articles I read said that. He's like, it has become very common with Jellycats to, if you're buying one for a kid, to buy two, because they do get very attached to them and you want to have a backup.
That's good business.
And the thing that you were saying, yeah.
But now you're buying doubles.
Why make one amount when we can make double?
Unbelievable.
So that kind of gets us into this whole next thing I want to talk about is why they're so popular with not just kids, but also adults. And there was an article about how buying a Jellycat for a baby has now become the gateway drug for the adult to get into Jellycat. So like, you got this lion, you didn't do this, but like you find it super cute and you see how much your kid loves it. And then you kind of start looking them up, and then it leads to them starting to buy either more for their kid or buying them for themselves.
It spreads like a disease.
It is. It's like a drug.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I have like a million reasons to why I think that they're so popular. One of them is the sensory aspect of it, which is basically just that super primal appeal, like I am with the furs that we're joking about. But I do, when I'm watching TV, I'm just absent-mindedly stroking octopus legs for like the soft texture of it. Like we have this sensory thing, and I think people find that with these things and like crave that. One of the reasons I think people buy them for babies is because they are designed to be safe for babies from birth. Like everything about them is supposed to be fine for the youngest human being.
No eyes they can chew off and choke on.
Yeah. And then I came across a term I had never seen before, kidult. Have you ever seen that?
No.
So it's the phenomena of kidulting, which is like an adult basically.
Feels like we're getting into diaper territory.
No, this isn't like a furry or anything weird like that. But it's basically adults that embrace their inner child and spoil it rotten.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm kind of putting it where, I don't know if you saw, like Kate Spade recently released a line of M&M like accessories. So it's like M&M jewelry and like pouches. It's like stuff that should be for a kid, but it's expensive and it feeds on your nostalgia of like being a child.
Very smart.
And then you start buying those things.
Yeah.
So and this falls in.
It's like, oh, when I was a kid, I would have loved this, but
Yeah.
I didn't have any money because I was a child.
Yeah.
Now I do because I'm a powerful CEO.
Exactly. We're all powerful, rich CEOs. They say it's like, how do they phrase it? Something like having a kid's mind with adult money or something like that. Like just being able to buy all those things that you couldn't when you were younger.
Of course.
So then there's that aspect of it, the kidulting. And then I started to realize that it's not even all of these aspects of it, the sensory or like our own mentality. Jellycat themselves is making kids buy them because of what they're making. They make a cassette tape one. Someone in Gen X is going to want a cassette tape
very
doll.
smart.
A 10-year-old doesn't even know what a cassette is. So they're not going to be like, Mommy, get me the cassette one. Like they have
What's
a disco
that
ball one.
rectangle with eyes?
Yeah, like they're literally making like a kettle ball. Like Al's going to get that because he likes to like work out. Your daughter is not going to go, well,
That's
she
a good
might get the
point.
kettlebell one. But I do think they specifically make them for adults.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Even though they
Very
look cute and for
clever.
kids, but it is maybe another subconscious thing.
Very clever.
There was something else called the lipstick effect. Have you heard of this? I think this was a big thing during COVID. It's like during times of like financial insecurity,
yes.
like I think people would treat themselves to a nice lipstick. So it's like you're still like kind of indulging and like treating yourself, but it's not, it's what we were talking about
like
a little bit
reasonable
earlier.
luxury. Yeah.
Right. Kind of like what I was saying about like it's the end of the week. I'll treat myself to a $40 thing. That is a whole aspect of it. COVID itself was a big part of it because people were bored and the anxiety of being locked down. So people wanted things that were comforting or playful.
They want to stroke a tentacle on the couch.
Everyone wants to just lay on the couch and stroke a tentacle. They need their soft goods. And I think also that was Amusables was when they started releasing like foods as well. COVID was also about like foods and comfort. So like who's not going to buy a cute little slice of cake with corduroy legs to sit next to you on the couch?
A little spam masubi.
So up until 2022, they didn't use social media at all themselves. There was definitely posts, like people would post them like buying their Jellycats or showing them off or whatever.
But there wasn't an official Jellycat page. Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So they didn't get into that until 2022. Now
These
they
hunks keep a low profile.
They really do. Now they do have an Instagram. It's got over 1 million followers. Their TikTok does too. And I got to say, now that they're on it, I was looking at them over the last week. They're so good at branding, which is like, you know, what our whole show is about, like the love of brands. And like they have beautiful artwork. It's like almost like a playful version of like those early Apple like silhouette ads, like just a solid background, like one of their plushies like doing something cute. Some of them have like they've animated them to be moving and stuff. It's just really well done.
They're having fun with it.
It looks luxe and nice. So now they have embraced social media, but what they've done in the last like handful of years, it's become super popular and gone viral on all the social medias, are these retail experiences they've created. So they have 4 of them basically. They have one in New York, they have one in Paris, they have one in London, and they have one in Shanghai.
Oh, you showed us those.
Oh my gosh, they're psychotic, but like people
crazy.
Love them. So basically, each one is like set up to be like, the one in New York is a diner. The one in Paris is like a pastry shop. The one in London is a fish and chip shop. And the one in China, I think, has like tea and sweet treats and stuff like that. And you go in and it's like...
Not real things. Not real fish and chips.
No.
Real sweet treats.
Exclusive Jellycats of those things. So,
psychotic.
Like, for example, the one in London, it's the only place where you can buy lily fish, which is the cutest little fish you've ever seen.
It is.
Dot and Peg mushy peas, which are the cutest little mushy peas you've ever seen. You can buy a little salt shaker, a little vinegar shaker, and then, of course, the chips, which are like fries. And you can only, like in Paris, you can get Brigitte brioche and 3 different macarons.
And it's not just that these things are like on a shelf. Isn't it like people like...
Okay, so these things are behind the counter, and it's like an experience. So most of them you now have to make a reservation for. You'll see lines down the street to get into one at New York. You go in. There's a normal shopping that you can do to pick your things. But let's say you're in New York, and you go up to the diner counter, and you're like, I think today I want to get the burger. Oh, my God. The people that work at these things, like, I'm embarrassed. Like, this made me realize that I don't think I was ever big on pretending.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm creative, and I can imagine things, but there's something about pretending that I'm just like, I always felt so stupid if I had to pretend.
And these are probably like NYU theater actors trained at Juilliard, and they're having to like pretend like they're frying up.
Yeah, so your daughter goes up and she's like, I'm going to get the burger. They're like, oh, great. So they pick up the burger with tongs. They put it on a fake grill. They make sizzle noises.
They do it with their mouth?
Yeah, they're like, they get different like things like they're fake and like shake things on them. Everything, nothing's happening. But then they're pretending. Now the kids love it.
Yeah.
Kids, some of them are like 30-year-olds.
I know. I feel like this isn't just kids.
They wrap it up in paper, like to make it look like the food that it is. They put a sticker on it. You get it boxed in a fun little like to-go box. You get a button. It's like a whole thing. And these things are expensive. Like I was looking at I think the one piece of fish is like $50.
Unbelievable.
And they're small. It's basically like $50 for a very upscale Beanie Baby.
Crazy.
So that's when I started to be like, this is starting to feel a little much.
Based on how the founders kept such a low profile, not being on social media, I feel like this wasn't their doing. I think this was like kind of like a new wave.
They're still in it to win it, I believe.
But is this something they would come up with? Because they're so low key. They're not even on Instagram until 2022. Like.
Yeah, but remember what they said earlier, like make something beautiful and people will buy it. They're still about selling it. They're not about like, sure, they want to bring joy into the world and make cute things that people will like and treasure, but they want the money.
Feeling sinister.
But I did see, and we'll get to this in a second. But yeah, so there's all these different experiences at all these different places, and some of the collectors are getting a little bit out of shape because they collect these things and you can only get them if you go to this city. Like you can only get this piece of fish if you go to London, or you have to buy it on eBay for 2 or 3 times.
Sure, marked up, or like you send a friend into Times Square to get it for you.
Literally. If anyone was like, hey, I'm headed to London, I'm like, okay, here's the address to Jellycat. See if you can grab me that. So these have become, I told you before the show, I looked up Jellycat experiences on TikTok while I was researching it 2 times. All I get now in my feed is Jellycat footage.
This is insane.
It's too much. I need to get it out of there.
This is too much.
So at this point, the Gatacre brothers are now on the Sunday Times rich list because the company's valued at over $155 million. So, I'm sure they're happy with that, whether those were their decisions or not. They're enjoying
That's a lot of tea.
That's a lot of kettlebells. So last year, they're more popular than ever. Their social medias have exploded. There's over 1 million followers on all of their accounts. There's Facebook pages dedicated to like the history of Jellycats and buying them and selling them and identifying them.
It's in that Beanie Baby realm. It's like you almost imagine that the company is like divided into two categories. Like the ones, okay, we're putting our energy into the toys for the little babies, the little ones, and then like, okay, this department is on the immersive theater experiences, which are not for 2-year-olds. This is for like the adult collectors and the like the fanatics.
I saw some pictures there was like a little photo thing on the Minneapolis office, and it's like, sure, there's like little nooks and crannies with cute jellies in them, but there's also like graphs, and like it's like a company. It's like any of these companies. I mean, they're in it to make money, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what they're there for.
Wow.
So something that has come up in the last year or two because of their popularity is in the UK, there's been a whole uptick of stealing these things to sell on eBay.
Oh, God.
So they're trying to find all these creative ways to stop people from stealing. Now they're having to tag them. They're having to keep them behind glass. Some stores are putting in facial recognition software to like try to like hunt down. They have people that like work with them on like Facebook and sites where people sell them to say, hey, we just had 12 fish stolen. If you see someone trying to sell fish, let us know.
It's too much. This is too much.
License plate reading things in the parking lot. It's like, what? This is all just for a little doll?
This is too much.
It's so silly. And if theft wasn't enough, another thing that has happened, once anything semi-luxe becomes popular, then the fakes start rolling out. So people are like, my mom got me this Jellycat. It'll be in quotes, and it'll be like the peanut, which I haven't even mentioned the peanut. Oh my God. If someone got me a Jellycat, I think I want the peanut. It is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
You do love peanuts.
Oh my gosh, I should pitch them on just making the connector.
Oh God.
A collector's edition connector.
It's like 3/4 of an inch, like with a frown and like little sad eyes.
Just a brown little
triangle.
Nub.
Oh God.
So there's this one collector, Aria, who has over 2,700 Jellycats, who's become the official go-to person. So you can send her pictures and find out. She'll tell you if your Jellycat is real.
Oh boy.
I will say
I'm not saying that there's probably overlap with the adult diaper wearing community, but I'm just saying there might be.
No, these are just, you know what? I think it's just people that have a lot of love to give and are looking for places to give it. This is how we see the world differently.
Well, click on their username and then see what other subreddits they comment on. That's how you find out who's in the adult diaper community.
Babe, no one's wearing adult diapers.
They do on American Girl. That's what I said.
William, one of the co-founders, he did say he truly believes that they should treat their employees and customers decently and respectfully and fairly. And it's the right thing to do ethically and morally. They're trying to make the company as ethical as possible. And it's just good for business. And if he can do that and make money at the same time, he'll sleep it well at night. Now, that's all well and good. And then at the very end of my research, I came across like this random paragraph. There were like other retailers are even less impressed with Jellycat.
Oh.
David Middleton runs Midco Toy Planet, complains about poor treatment from Jellycat reps at trade fairs earlier this year.
They're bullies?
Apparently, their products don't fit well in toy shops, better off in gift shops.
Oh.
And another influential toy industry insider said the company is arrogant and snobbish.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You
so
snobby little peanut.
I was like, no. Oh, peanut. I need that peanut. So, you know.
Now that I think of it, they are, if it is a children's store, it's a very posh, to use their word, a posh children's store or an upscale bookstore. It's places like that.
All the places I get it are like pretty nice, like gift shops.
Ritzy, where you're like, oh, this kid's like hat, this little baby beanie is cute. And you're like,
$36.
I mean,
$72.
Like sometimes, yes.
So yeah,
Unreal.
So that's what I've got on Jellycat. It's kind of the hot toy of today. It's kind of an upscale version of Beanie Babies, like you said. There is question about, are some of these collectible ones worth getting? Only time will tell. I would say probably not. I don't think if you have the 2-foot bear in 20 years, you're going to be selling it for a ton of money. But who knows? Maybe. He maybe be worth
Just
it.
only collect things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Only wear a diaper if it makes you happy.
Babe,
but don't plan on selling Jellycats as like your retirement.
Quit talking about diapers. We're almost out of time. I have a game because I haven't done a game in a while.
Fun.
These are customer reviews. You have to tell me if this is a review for jelly
Uh-huh.
or a Jellycat.
Oh, okay, fun.
All right. Review number 1.
Great.
Good quality. Price has increased substantially this year.
Ooh, jelly.
It is jelly. From Target. The Bon Maman. All right. Classic favorite, loved by young and old.
Ooh, that's got to be a Jellycat.
That is a Jellycat.
Which one?
It was the bunny. I think I only pulled bunny
Love
ones.
by young and old. Both my grandmother and my child both love this jelly. Apricot.
All right. The best jelly I've ever bought. So soft.
Jellycat.
No, it's jelly. I don't know why it was soft. All right, 2 more. Everybody loves this. I use it for charcuterie boards, and my friends ask where I bought it. Now, they include it in their charcuterie boards, too.
Jellycat.
No, jelly. That was jelly. All right, and then this is the last one. I hate getting seeds stuck in my teeth.
Ooh, okay.
But this jelly is so good that I've invested in some good floss and learned to deal.
Okay.
Love it in sandwiches and on toast. Also very good on ice cream. But when eaten by the spoonful straight from the jar is best. Yes, it's a little bit pricey, but you can't put a price on a really good jelly. Wouldn't be right.
People eat jelly by the spoonful.
I love that she lists all normal ways, and then she's like, but I just eat it with a spoon.
Secret. You didn't have to tell anybody that.
I was like, I'm not wasting my 1 spoon on jelly. That was jelly.
That was jelly. That was very clearly jelly. Oh my God. This woman needs help.
Everyone's psychotic.
Oh my God. People like share their deepest personal thoughts
They
in
really
the
do.
safety of a review.
They do.
Oh my God. That's where you really let it all hang out.
All right, well, that's Jellycat. Now that I've told you about it, you know about it. You're going to see them in stores. You're going to see them online. Are they on brand for you? On brand for you. And take away any labias, any nipples, any diapers, just the toys.
Just the toy. Okay. I'll try. Jellycat, if I was getting somebody a gift for a baby shower, then I would pick a Jellycat over any other stuffed animal because I know that they are built to last. And they are the preferred stuffed animal when a blind test for a child.
In a blind
So
test.
yes, Jellycat is on brand for me.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's definitely on brand for me too.
Has to
Even
be.
a couple little, maybe a tiny Hazinga that
Sure,
they don't
they're
treat.
snobs.
Sure, they're snobs. Oprah's a snob.
Sure, we'll be snobs someday too with any luck.
We're trying to be snobs. We want to be snobs.
We're too unsuccessful to be snobs.
I mean, any company that, I'm sorry, makes this,
Is this the peanut?
I mean, that makes that,
Oh, it just has legs.
it just has legs of that little peanut. Oh my gosh.
That is really
That
cute.
alone is why I'm on brand.
Oh, you stroking that peanut. So cute.
Babe, I mean,
You stroke the octopus
yeah, I do.
and the fur.
Yeah.
You're laying on your couch stroking that peanut. These are your words, not mine.
What happened
I'm merely
to
a
you?
mirror.
What happened to you and your brown nipples? All right. Well, before we go, I did want to throw this in. I'm not going to go deep. So 2 weeks ago, I did an episode on Target, a love letter, the longest research I had done on a brand. I think one of our longest episodes. I got in trouble for it being so long. So in the last week, Target has had a huge Hazinga. I don't know if you've heard about this, but they're getting rid of their DEI programs. They're no longer supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're getting rid of supporting small businesses for the gay community and for the Black community.
Wow.
This is something they've been known for forever.
They have the hugest pride collection. It's like if you want to get like a rainbow tutu for your dog,
Yeah.
you can get it at Pride.
Not
at
anymore. So
Target.
here's the issue with Pride. So they got a lot of backlash from a lot of people. 2 years ago, they started carrying less Pride stuff, putting more of it online. Last year, they started putting it in less stores.
Oh.
We're curious to see if it exists at all this year.
Wow.
All I'm saying is we've had a love for Target for a long time. This seems like a huge, huge misstep.
I mean, the gay community is Target's backbone, dare I say.
Shit. It's
Dare
just-
I?
it was-
Who is going to buy your disco ball stuffed animals.
Who's going to buy 22 rolls of your cheap-ass wrapping paper?
You do not turn your back on the gay community.
Yeah. So listen, I know we like to keep things fun here, but this is very brand related, and it feels so crummy that it happened right after I just did that episode. I would have liked to have had that information before I did it. I may have pushed that episode down the block a little bit, but I'm throwing that out there.
Get it right. Get it right.
Now,
Target.
that being said, it's time to give some shout outs to our Freaks of the Week. I would like to give a very special shout out to a special Freak of the Week this week, and that is Alex Rosowski. He is a listener. He sent us a Sarah Josepha Hale bobblehead.
Unreal.
It is unbelievable. It is one of the sweetest things. She is now iconically in our studio that we don't have, that we hope to have. We're now collecting things. I've gotten a poster for my niece and a couple other things for my niece.
We'll have a studio someday.
We'll have a studio someday, but holy crap, we now have an actual piece of Sarah Josepha Hale merch. If you don't know who she is, go listen to the Thanksgiving episode and the Christmas episodes.
She's huge. There should be a statue of her in every town square.
So thank you so much, Alex. And also now I want to give out our shout outs to the Freaks of the Week for our Insta Egg this week. If you don't know, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post a puzzle that lets you guess what our brand is going to be for that week. If you guess it right, you get your name in our Wheel of Freaks, and I pick 5 Freaks of the Week from that wheel. So this week, our lucky Freaks of the Week are the letter N, Zach, Hannah Holden, Melissa Bowden, and Sarah Jane. So thank you so much for playing that. If you've never played it before, check us out this Wednesday on the Instagram story. Send us your guess, and if you don't get it right, I'll send you a clue. There's really no way to get it wrong unless you just stop writing me. I will get you there. I'll get you across the finish line, and hopefully you'll get a shout out.
And while we're giving shout outs, I want to give some shout outs to some listeners who've left us lovely reviews on Apple Podcasts. Blame Anesthesia says, hilariously informative, loves the podcast. Banter is unmatched. Kevin 123465, flipping the script there, says, hilarious and informative, love the show. And Nivna 0725 says, this is the only podcast that unfailingly makes me laugh out loud on every listen. I wish there were 1,000 episodes.
Aww.
There will be someday. Someday there will be. And check out the Patreon. That's going to be launching very soon. You will find out what Jon had twice. We will be doing some fun and exciting Q&As, interacting with you guys, taste tests, collabs, rants,
news, field trips.
It'll be really fun. And it's just more, more of this.
And we won't beep out words. We get to just say dirty words.
So that one might be a little R-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah, more labia talk. Got it, Jon. Okay, and with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.